Thank you, Adam. Good morning. This is Collie Graham from Sales Excellence, along with Adam this morning, looking at key account management skills. So the question we got to ask is, how do we define a key account? And what are we going to be looking at this morning? Well, we're going to look at how we can develop a strategic approach to account management. How can we construct and implement a profitable long-term key account plan? And one of the important things in builds with our key account customers is to build stronger value-added customer relationships. And the big one is obviously to protect these accounts from our competitors. And obviously, whilst doing that is to increase our account revenue and profitability. So the definition of a key account for me is, if losing that account would be painful, it is then by definition a key account. Pareto's law that you're all maybe aware of is a theory based on that 80% of your sales comes from 20% of your customers. And Pareto's law is obviously carries throughout. So you've got to analyze, where are your sales coming from? What customers are bringing in the sales in your key accounts? So key account management is the process of maximizing the return on your investment. We need to maximize the return on investment of the customer and enhance the customer relationships with effective management strategies. And those management strategies go beyond traditional selling to tackle customer issues. And we've got to reach both inside the seller and the buyer organizations. And by defining and actioning appropriate plans that will enable you to build on the present to manage the future. But the problem is that people will say is that key account is a strategic planning approach that goes beyond that traditional selling. So maximizing the investment, one of the things that we got to be careful is this: do we keep all our eggs in one basket? There's nothing wrong with putting all our eggs in one basket, just watch the basket carefully. And that's from Henry Ford. So put your eggs in a few baskets. So there are two facts which are playing in today's economy. And what we need is the systematic management of the key accounts, which is critical to our business survival. Unfortunately, few people manage key accounts effectively or treat them as major business assets that they are. So let's look at this morning how we can actually overcome that. Well, the first thing is that we need a strategy. Now, the word strategy comes from the Greek, strategios, if my Greek is any good. It actually means military general. And a strategy then is how a general positions his troops effectively before a battle. So we've then got to effectively get our troops in place with our key accounts. Michael Porter, from a business school, he said, a broad formula for how a business is going to compete, it's to know what its goals should be and what policies needed to be carried out on these goals. Now, for a business strategy, that's the foundation. Is where are you going to compete? What goals do you need? And what policies do you need to carry out those goals? So the 5 critical patterns for success is what I said earlier: managing the key account relationship, understanding the key accounts business, understanding the business of your client, of your key account customer, and ensuring that you have effective actions and responsiveness to customers. Also involving others with your key accounts within the business. And you've got to have commitment to a key account program. So understanding that strategic objectives is aligning yourself with those strategic objectives, is listening beyond the product or service needs, getting into depth with your customer and understanding the financial impact of the decisions that you're making. And you've got to use solution-based problem selling. What solutions are you offering your customers? And then establishing a vision of the key account supplier relationship. What is your vision of the relationship? And engaging in self-appraisal and continuous learning. And obviously to build that strategic plan that you're using. So the role of sales is changing, and some of the problems faced in large account management are poor qualifying of customers, prospects, customers won't open up, weak team selling and pricing pressure. Because the selling model has changed over the last 100 years, and we see now the dominance of the producer, the distributor, and the end user is changing. Back in the late 40s to early 60s, the role of the distributor started to grow, and the end user had little influence on the marketplace. And the distributor dominated the market, dictated terms to the producer. Now, in the 2000s, end users are dominating the market. And this rise is dictating terms in the marketplace, and the high dominance of the distributor is falling. So we're created a need for the distributor and the producer to work together, to collaborate, to understand and be able to satisfy the demands of the end user. So there are two roles in selling. So out in the marketplace, you have two roles. You have the hunter salesperson and you have the farmer sales role. The hunter, well, the hunter goes out and he identifies the prospect. He makes the kill. No. He closes the sale after the pursuit, and he drags it back to the cave, back to the office. The farmer has a much more involved job. The farmer cultivates, prepares, plants, seeds, waters, fertilizes, weeds, protects, grows, develops crops, harvests, and then starts the cycle all over again. So like selling, he prepares the soil where he enables himself with the customer, he cultivates it, he plants the seed, waters, fertilizes, weeding out competitors, and continuous harvesting. So key account salesperson is very much like the farmer. So what key account is not? Key account management, it's not a sales drive, nor is it a sales initiative. Don't expect key account management to be a quick fix. The essence, as I keep repeating, with key account management is building that relationship with the customer. So let's look at our objectives of where we can start with our key accounts. So we need a business strategy and a sales strategy for managing the future. And we need to balance these three important elements, starting with our business objectives. What is it you want to achieve from your key accounts? Where can we start key account management? And key account management is about managing the future, trying to understand it in a complex business environment, and obviously in a never-changing market environment. And what we've got to ask is, do we have the necessary resources to achieve these business objectives? You already think or know what the market opportunity is. However, we need to step back and view the future, and viewing the future is never easy. And that's one of the purposes and benefits of a key account management plan. And breaking down that key account management plan, we've got to start by looking at what we know, then what do we believe about our accounts, and what can we do? And there are two sides to what we can do in key account selection and categorization and key account planning. So we can start with key account selection and categorization. And after that, it's up to us to take action and to monitor our progress. So looking at our key accounts is on this key account selection and categorization side is we need to decide which accounts are our key accounts and that we're going to manage as key accounts. We need to do an in-depth account analysis is we need to actually look at where the influences are, where the decision makers are within our key accounts, knowing the structure of the business. One of the things we need to keep ourselves very much aware of the business is to look at their financial reports, look at their annual company reports, and then through that we can set our objectives and strategies for selling them. And then on the second side of our key account planning, we've got to look at how we're going to, how we're going to move forward and develop the account and strengthen that relationship within the account. And then what action we can take to move forward. And continually monitoring the account, looking at the data that we're receiving from the account of where our strengths and weaknesses are within the account. So how will we move forward? Well, key account-based selling has certain advantages. And by looking at what we know, what we do believe, what can we do? So what do we need to do to make key account management work? So we've got to increase our sales effectiveness by pursuing high potential accounts and opportunities. So you've got to ask yourself, where are our high potential accounts and where are the opportunities that we can maximize our sales effort on? Then we've got to be able to increase our market share and revenue with our existing accounts. How can we strengthen that relationship? Where can we increase our market share? And where can we grow our revenue within the existing account? And obviously the most important is profitability. So how can we increase our profitability through the development of the appropriate product and services offering to our customers? And we've got to also be able to provide opportunities to contribute to the success of the customer. So the question you've got to ask yourself about your product or service is, how is my product or service adding value to the success of my customer? And then, of course, we've got to improve customer retention. And we can do that through building stronger relationships and increased client satisfaction. We've obviously got to get close to the account so that we can facilitate the allocation of our marketing and sales resources to the account to help it to grow profitably. So making key account management work. Well, we've got to understand the right key accounts to manage, involving them in the process, including the key prospects in this approach. Who are the key prospects? We've got to set out suitable plans and structure the right sales team approach. And this can be different for every account. And then we need to go forward by developing key account management skills and be competent to deliver these skills. And the other thing is where people actually fall into the trap is that they sometimes try to manage their key account proposition the same as they manage their standard proposition. No, your key account management proposition is different from your standard proposition. And you've got to ensure that you're building the right knowledge and right database on your key accounts, which are often different from other accounts in your business. And then to continually measure, monitor the results of your key account management activity and address and reclassify where appropriate. Look at where your threats are and where your opportunities are, where your strengths are and where your weaknesses are. And that's something that we do in our key account workshop. We use a SWOT analysis
to look at to see where our key accounts need to be strengthened. So the question arises, who then are your key accounts? Are they the big ones? Are the ones that you mustn't lose? Are the ones that offer future profit? Are the accounts that keep demanding more from you? Or are they the accounts that will grow your business? When it comes to key accounts, defining key accounts, you make the rules. So you make the rules about how and who are your key accounts. So a successful key account management program. So we've got to ask ourselves, first of all, with which customers does it make sense to attempt to build long-term relationships? Who should we be working with? Question number 2, obviously, is do we have the resources to do that? And we've got to ask ourselves, what makes a customer strategic? Is it long-term growth or is it profit potential? So the analysis of the account will decide on this. And then you've got to ask the question, who within the organization and your sales team has the right attributes for the key account role? Are they have the ability to farm the account? The question also arises of what practices, policies, processes have you to adhere to come and build the success in your organization with your key accounts. And what information do you need to support this? And the question is, how will you make it happen? And of course, at the bottom line is, are you able to measure the profitability at the individual customer level? So being able to measure profitability. Now, sometimes when people go for key accounts, they go with the ones which are high turnover, which produce high revenue, but may have low profitability. So there's an old saying in management is turnover for vanity, profit for sanity. So you need to realize where is your profitable accounts, which accounts are making the most profit. So in doing that, you've got to ask yourself, what makes a client attractive to you? And on the other side, what makes your company attractive to your clients in comparison to the competition? Understanding why your customer is buying from you as opposed to your competition. So one of the things that we do in our key account workshops is that we look at this 10-step client attractiveness, and we ask people on the workshop, on the key account management masterclass, we ask them to go through this 10-step process and to look at their key accounts and ask how attractive are they. We start off by looking at the size of the account, how large, what's their turnover, are they in a growth mode? Then we got to look at their growth potential. Is there potential for further growth within us? And of course, we need to be aware of the financial stability of our key accounts. How financially stable are they? Do they pay us on time? Do we have a good arrangement with our financial division? And is there ease of access? Can we get to all the influencers? Can we get to all the decision makers within the account? Do we know who all these people are? And most important, with ease of access, do we have a sponsor within the key account? Or some people may call it a coach, or on my Inside Selling program, I call it a knight. Do you have a knight within the company? And the reason I call it a knight is you may remember kings of old had a knight who fought their battles. So within the company, you need a knight to fight your battle when it's not there. Because what often happens in key accounts, the sale is going on when you're not present. And that's why that you need to have a closeness of an existing relationship within the key account. Somebody within the account that you can sit down and have a coffee with you and can tell you what is happening with the key account. He can perhaps tell you as your competitors were knocking our door last week, or they're looking at changing something, or something is happening within the account that you need to become aware of. And then, are you a good strategic fit for the account? Does your business sit well in collaborating with the account to help them to be successful, to help their customers be successful as well? And then, are they early adopters? Are they willing to look at new ideas that you can give them, that how you can help them with their success with their business, and that you can influence them and get them commitment to your ideas to help grow the business? And of course, do they value your offer, and is it relevant to your needs? So how do they value you? How do they see you as a supplier or someone who is servicing them? And then let's look at the level of the competition. Low level obviously being attractive, or do you have a lot of competitors knocking at the door? So what you need to be able to do is to strengthen your position and to be aware of the competitors and know what your competitors may be offering or what they're actually trying to do to steal the key account from you. You can bet your bottom dollar, if it is a very strategic account which can give you profit, your competitors want to win that account. So that's when you've got to be aware of the competition out there. Then looking at your key account, what's their market standing? Are they a market leader? Have they got credibility within the marketplace? Do they have prestige? Are they someone are they a brand name, a brand leader that you can actually see who your key account is? So on the other side, when we are assessing our key accounts, we've got to look at our relative strength. And our relative strength obviously is on the price that we have agreed with our key account for the services and products that we provide. How strong is our service to the key account? How well are we established there in the collaboration? And one of the things that we look at on the Key Account Masterclass is at what stage is the relationship with the key account? Now, you've got to be careful with the relationship with the key account, because it could end up like the story of the English breakfast. And the story of the English breakfast is that the chicken went to the pig and said to the pig, "Let's you and I go into business. I will supply eggs and you can supply the ham, and we can make a lot of money selling the traditional English breakfast of eggs and ham." But of course, the poor old pig, he said, "Hold on a second," to the hen. "You are only involved. I'm committed." So in looking at that with your customers, don't allow yourself to get into the chicken and pig situation with your client. So looking at the quality of the people, the quality of your own people, of how well they have in sales skills and the sales skills that they need to use with key accounts. And one of the interesting things is looking at the 4 C's in insight selling, which we will actually look at as one of the modules on our Key Account Masterclass. And the 4 C's of insight selling is first of all, conversation. Are you able to have a worthwhile conversation with your key accounts? Number 2, are you able to collaborate? Do you have a good collaboration and partnership with your key accounts? Number 3, can you convince them of your offering and to increase your business with them? And number 4, the most important, is have you got commitment from your key accounts? So conversation, collaboration, commitment, and being able to convince them. Because that then can build that relationship and the attitudes that you get from your key accounts. And of course, in relation to that is speed of response that you have to your key accounts. And that's where you've got to be aware of what commitment that your client or customer expects from you. And innovation. Are you innovative with your key accounts? Have you looked at all aspects where you can help to grow the business? Do you listen to them with aha moments? Are you innovative with your ideas going forward? And then value and use in the supply chain to your key account. Is the value well established that you can strengthen the value that they're gaining from the key account? And of course, you need long-term sustainability. How are you going to sustain your position with your key account for long-term sustainability? And of course, you need to have trust and confidence, which comes back to what you've got to do is to build a relationship and exceed your promises. You know, promise less and deliver more was the old has how you build trust and confidence. So how can we make key accounts work? So we've got to understand the right key accounts to manage. And we've got to involve the customer in the process and the key prospects in this approach that we work with them. And we need to lay out suitable plans and structuring the right team approach. As I said, this can be different by account. And we need to develop key account management skills and be competent to be able to deliver these skills. Because one of the things that we do on our masterclass is we end up on the last afternoon of the training that we actually develop a key account master plan for one of your key accounts and look at how you can structure the plan, who needs to be in place, and ensure that you're building the right knowledge into your accounts and measure and monitor the results of your accounts. So looking at our key account matrix, and this key account matrix is looking at account maintenance on one side and account development on the other side. You know, because our action plan for maintenance and development of the account, we've got to take into what accounts we're developing. So are they at the early stage? Are we still hunting them? Are we still developing the account? Perhaps it's not yet a key account. It may be attractive to us and we want it as a key account, but our strengths within it is relatively low. Then we look at the opportunistic account where attractiveness is low and the relative strength is low. And that's people who actually just are perhaps using us as suppliers and using us against the competition and always want us on demand. And then we have maintenance accounts, which may be high revenue but low profitability. And we just have to maintain those, are not very attractive to us. So the accounts which are attractive to us and which we have a relative high strength are those accounts which we can manage. Which are the accounts that we can manage to look forward? So planning and management account reviews and developing short and long-term goals, short, mid and long-term goals, and defining the strategy to do that. So if we look at this matrix as well, is how we actually look at how we can analyze our accounts. So there's two sides to looking at, and that's planning the account management approach to a specific customer, is that we analyze the account using our strength and attractiveness models that we discussed earlier. And then on the other leg is analysis of how the account positions you as a supplier. How does the account see you? So that allows you to set your objectives for level on the account relationship development scale. Because the question is, this plan is actually to see how you can develop the account. The first one is that you obviously got to maintain the account maintenance, and this is where you got to strengthen your relationship to ensure that the competition is not chipping away at your account. And for this, you obviously need an action plan. And the action plan obviously includes your ability to manage all your resources within your account, manage the performance against the customer criteria. Do you know what your customer expects from you? What's your customer's expectations from you as their supplier? And then have planning and management account reviews with the customers to know that how you can plan to go forward. Then managing and developing the contact relationships. One of the things that we do on the Key Account Masterclass is that we build an overview of the structure of the decision makers, the economic buyers, the influencers, the technical users, and the end users within the account. And we identify all these people so that we can build a relationship with them and make ourselves aware of what can we do to strengthen and maintain the relationship within our key account. Then on the other side, of course, we've got to be able to develop the account. We've got to have an action plan to have our account grow. And that's where we need to have our short, mid, and long-term goals. What's our goals for the accounts? What's the objectives that we have for the account? And then looking at developing the account for those short, mid, long-term goals, defining our strategy. How will we approach the account? Who will we talk to? And what will we say when we talk to them? So we've got to define and secure the resources that we need to build a relationship within the account. And we've got to continue developing the knowledge of the account and developing the contact network that I discussed a moment ago. Who are all your contacts within the account? Have there been any changes? Has anyone left? Has someone new joined? Because that is the only way that you're going to get a sustainable advantage. So what is a sustainable advantage? Because you've got to have a retention of customers in the competitive environment. And you've got to be able to build barriers to entry from your competitors. And you've got to show growth through entry to new customers, overcoming barriers to entry. And you've got to find new opportunities within the customers. And you've got to go beyond product and benefit selling. And that's why we do a section on selling solutions and selling with insight to your customers. And the question you've got to ask really is, do you have a unique value position? Are there new needs within your customers? What are they? And what solutions can you offer to your customers' business? So, do you have a sustainable competitive advantage? Do you have a unique value proposition to overcome the barriers to entry? Are you finding new opportunities? Are there new needs within your customers that you need to identify? And if you have global accounts, do these customers exist and how can you serve them? So we've got to look at revenue versus profit, and I've already discussed this earlier. So by sorting your customers, you've got to start with the most profitable to the least profitable. And it's easy to see which customers are critical to current profitability of the company. And as I said earlier, turnover for vanity, profit for sanity. So looking at your customers, and this is where you've got to work with your accounts department, which customers are And you've got to take into how much it costs you to service the customer, how much is it costing on the supply chain with the customer. So you've got to look at who is the most profitable to the least profitable key accounts. And of course, this will throw up more questions. The first question is, how can you strengthen your relationship with the most profitable customers? And how can you grow more profit with your least profitable customers? So that's got to be taken into consideration in planning and building with your key accounts. So we've got to ask ourselves, which accounts are the most profitable and which are the least profitable? So when defining the key account, are they the customers responsible, for example, 80% of your revenue and profit? Are they customers with over a percentage amount of sales? Are they customers with a potential amount of sales within 2 years or within a specific period that you define what their potential of growth is? Are they customers that's generating you a given amount of profit? And are they customers who are responsible for a percentage of the market share in units of value? And are they your customers, are they opinion leaders, are they influencers within your marketplace? Because what you've got to be able to do is to screen these accounts. You need to have the ability to sustain a long-term profitable relationship with the account. What is the net profit over the Y years? So what's the profit over a given number of years from the account? Does the account value products and services as distinct from your competition? How do they see you placed in regards to your competition? And the relationship has also strategic value, and can it create differential advantages by serving the customer? So in the relationship, what is your strategic value, and can you create a differentiate? How do you differentiate yourself by serving the customer? So what differentiates you from the competition? And can you create considerable barriers to entry by serving the customer? Barriers to entry is to create barriers of entry to the competition. And then the customer relationship is based on more than price negotiation. If you continually are having to negotiate the price with the customer, then what that actually means is the customer is not actually seeing the value that you're offering. So you've got to actually look at your value proposition and what value you're bringing to the customer. And what is the potential growth? Is it greater than the current major clients? Is there a potential for growth within this business? So with your complete key account strategy, you've got to start with a vision. What's the vision that you have for your key account? So once the vision that you have for each of your key accounts, that you need to set a written mission statement. What's your mission to grow this key account? And then on 4 sides of that you need to have performance objectives. What performance objectives do you wish to set to grow the key account? What's your strategic focus? What do you need to focus on to grow the key account? What relationships do you need to develop within the key account to grow it? And what is your position within the key account? Where can you establish your position to grow the key account? And then, of course, you need your action programs. Have an action program of how you can fulfill your performance objectives, look at your strategic focus, and where you position yourself within the marketplace within your key accounts. And then you need agreement on your resources and resources that you're going to commit to the key account. And then you've got to look at your budgets and your forecast. What budgets can you set aside to grow the key account, and what forecasts of revenue can you receive from the key account? So thank you for joining this webinar today. We have a free white paper on key account management that you can download. You'll find it at salesexcellence.com, sales-training-white papers. And don't forget, Sales Excellence is spelled SALESXCELLENCE. There is no E in the middle of Sales Excellence. So our key account management masterclass will be taking place at 3 locations in November. London, we are there on the 7th and 8th of November in the Park Inn, London Heathrow. Belfast, 14th and 15th of November in the Wellington Park Hotel, Belfast. And then up in Manchester on the 2nd of November at the Hallmark Hotel. And you can download a brochure from our website, and there is the short link on that. So thank you for joining today's webinar, and back to Adam in the studio.
Thank you very much, Colin, and thank you for those that stayed live with us. I think a few people messaged me personally saying they had a few problems, etc., but that's fine. Everyone will get a full recording anyway, so you'll be able to watch this all on demand, and we will have more coming up in the future. So next stages for us is within the next probably 48 hours. We'll edit this all completely and send out a full recording to everybody that registered. Once you've then had the full recording, the links that Colin's talked about will all be in the email, so no worries about trying to Google anything or try and screen snap anything from here. One last thing from us is, as I say, we're on all 3 social media platforms, and if you do enjoy it and do get something out of this, whether it's now or in the future, if you could kindly leave us a review, that would be fantastic. But once again, we'll be in touch via email, and thank you all again for attending and for the ones that are listening to this on playback. Thanks.